200 families here in America were in the adoption process when the war started in Ukraine. Over 100,000 kids in a country that's the size of Texas are living in orphanages, and that was prior to the war. Our connection with these kids has been going on before the war. They have been in our homes. We have relationships with these children, and we are trying to be a voice to get our stories told. First Lady Zelensky is the inspiration behind this video. She wants every Ukrainian child to be brought up in a family. She suggests that we reach out to politicians and we use our voices.
In order not to become a victim, you have to start talking, to start acting. You have to raise your voice and talk to your politicians.
She even goes on to say that for the children, this is the right to live in a family, to have parents who love them.
All right, imagine loving a child, deciding to adopt that child, and then the process stops for reasons completely out of your control. Now, imagine that child that you love is stuck in an orphanage an ocean away.
That's what it's like for 6 Rochester families who were in the process of adopting Ukrainian orphans before the war broke out. So now all these families want is to be able to keep their children safe in America during the war. Today, I met one of those families just before they boarded a plane to visit 4 little girls they're struggling to adopt.
And then the war broke out, and their adoption plans came to a halt.
That was very hard. Sorry. That was very hard. I was scared. I was scared for her.
Their orphanage was bombed and shot at. They don't have anything to go back to. They're stuck in Poland right now. Those are the people that we're trying to help. There's 100 kids in this orphanage where Sophia and the other girls are that have families here that want to take care of them.
So those American families are begging the Ukrainian government to let them care for the children they're in the process of adopting while the war rages on in their homeland.
As long as we can, do it even during the wartime, it's a better place in a family than it is in some makeshift camp, in the middle of Europe.
But so far, the Ukrainian government has said no. So the family is relegated to Skype calls and letters and heartbreaking text messages. Mom, Sophia wrote, "How many days till you think I will come back home?"
Some days are harder than others, but we just keep praying, and we just know that God has a plan.
And so it's with that hope that the family is leaving for Poland to visit their little girls an ocean away, praying that one day they'll all fly back to the Flower City together.
Of the 200 Americans fighting for the past year to get our kids here, even temporarily, we are talking about 300 Ukrainian kids who have been in our homes, who have lived with us before, who know us, and more importantly, they are begging us constantly to come home, back to the rooms that they have, back to the empty beds that are waiting for them.
So this is his room. Anna Ramos of Lacey still has her Ukrainian boy's bedroom set up from when he visited before having to return, believing he'd soon be a part of their family. Then war hit.
It's been a nightmare. And you're gonna get me crying. It's been a roller coaster. One minute we have just these really high hopes and see these little lights of, possibility, and then the next minute is devastation.
Some of these kids have even gone to the length of writing letters to the Ukraine government asking to come back to the American families instead of being in their displaced locations in Europe. It is, to me, like writing a letter to Santa Claus, asking for the biggest gift that they could wish for, as all these kids wish is to be in our homes. In this teen's letter, they write, "I don't understand why you think for us kids it is best to stay in Italy. Personally, for me, it is best to live in America. I love my mom, dad, sisters, pets. For me, it's best to live there. I miss them all so much. Could you please give my mom permission to take me with her?"
Last week has been heartbreaking and
like living through a nightmare, really.
Yeah, it really is. She is not legally our daughter, but for all intents and purposes, we feel like our daughter's over there. About a year ago, we heard about an opportunity to host a child from a Ukrainian orphanage. Our family just jumped at the opportunity to spend a summer with a little kid who didn't have a family.
I just melted. I saw this little redheaded, she looked so tiny. I was just like, oh, we could love this little one.
We started doing the research and looked up a local adoption agency and found out that she is available for adoption. And by the time we did have to, when we did put her on a plane to go back to Ukraine at the end of the summer, we had already started the paperwork and the process. We're holding on to the confidence and the hope that we'll see her again.
We understand Ukraine's ministry's concerns that not all kids in orphanages are adoptable, but the 300 children we are talking about have been on the ministry's website as adoptable. They are available for international adoptions, and we are just asking to bring them here temporarily so we can finish our adoptions in the way Ukraine wants us to. We are not asking even for adoptions to open at this time because it is not possible.
To share.
Katie Jo Page has been in constant communication with Mikita after hosting him in Snohomish, but having to send him back to Ukraine while the adoption process plays out. Then war hit.
I heard from him 2 days ago for about 30 seconds. He was able to call me, and he told me he's okay, and he loves me, and he's going to try to charge his phone.
The State Department, however, said in a statement that the Ukraine government has jurisdiction over Ukrainian children and has expressed concern about having them leave Europe at this point. One mom who had spoke on the news said that even though her child is safe in a hotel-style housing in Poland, that the setting is less than ideal for children who have gone through the trauma and escaped the war. That these kids belong in families, and the families have gone through extensive training already in order to adopt. A lot of them have even done trauma-based. This would be the best place for these kids to heal and thrive. In this article, lawmakers go on and say that many of these children may be appropriately given refugee in neighboring countries. However, they believe that in the unique circumstances where children already have established relationships with families in the United States, it is appropriate to prioritize allowing these children to stay with host families to ensure the child's safety and stability. And more than anything, what we want is to partner with Ukraine to provide the best environment that we can for these children.